Hello, hello. Hi, everybody. This is Patty Bennett. Are you having a fabulous day? I hope so. It's a little warm here, but we have the air conditioning on and we are ready to craft. I am super excited to show you these pretty cards. I have lots of versions of them, can you tell? Today I am featuring the Stampin' Up! Frosted Forest Bundle. That is a brand new online exclusive release. I will go over in a minute what that means because online exclusives are something new and different. Well, over the past year, I guess, right? With Stampin' Up. So I will be reviewing that so that you know what that means. But this is our weekly live crafting session. So today is July 5th and it's 11 a.m. Pacific time if you're joining live, and you'll see a little red live button in the corner so that you know that I'm live on Facebook. If you are watching a replay, fabulous as well. I just won't see your live comments. That's all. But you're welcome to comment later, even if you're watching a replay. So if you're watching a replay, skip ahead while I welcome our guests and we get to the top of the hour and officially start. So hey, Patricia and Tammy, Colleen, Debbie, Mary, Jackie, Jamie, Lori, Lois, hello everybody. Hi Elizabeth. I hope that you are all having a great day. Thanks for saying hi. I always love to see who is on live with me. We'll get started in just about 30 seconds for the official live portion. Hello, Fran and Becky. Hi, Patty M. Oh, hot in El Dorado Hills. Yes, it is. It is just kind of unprecedented here to have about 10 days of really extreme heat. Usually here in the San Francisco Bay Area, it's maybe 3 to 4 days, and then we have quite a lovely break, and then it might get hot again. But this has been really unprecedented this past, what, week, 8, 9 days? I don't even want to know how long it's been. Alrighty, well, thank you all again for joining me. I'm going to go ahead and officially get started. This is Patty Bennett. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I have been a demonstrator for 29 years. I love crafting and sharing with you. I have over 6,100 posts and ideas for you at pattystamps.com, so feel free to jump over there when we're done if you need any of these supplies. And then if you want to see the projects from today, here's the deal. So tomorrow, the 6th of July, I am going to have these projects that actually include the stamped images, and I'll go over that in a minute. But then yesterday I kind of got going and got a little extra creative, and I decided to see what these products look like, either watercolored as in this one, or these as in no stamping. So I'll go over that at the end today, and those cards will be on pattystamps.com on July 8th. So if you are looking for those on YouTube, just look down in the description section and I will link to those. But if you're already on my blog, then you've seen them. So there you go. But I kind of had to divide this into two sections. So let me go over these projects and show you what's happening today. So this all kind of started with this anniversary card that I made for my husband. It's a top fold card, and I gave it to him in June for our 38th wedding anniversary. And I thought this was a perfect beautiful little greeting. Just love spending time with you. And you can see that I have stamped, ink blended, and die cut this tree for the card. And I just want to show you something really funny. The card he gave me has a tree on it. I don't think ever in our 38 years of giving anniversary cards I've ever made him a tree card. I don't think he's ever given me a tree card, and we both did tree cards. Like, I don't know, is 38 years the year of the tree or something? I don't know. I just thought that was hysterical. And of course, we went to Benihana because that's it's my favorite. It's kind of collectively a favorite of ours, and we always get a picture taken when we go there. So we did Benihana for our wedding anniversary dinner. So anyway, this kind of started with this card, this whole idea of me doing a video for this. And as I made this card, I thought, you know, I think this would really be a great video. I think that everybody would enjoy seeing how to use this. So that's why I decided to do this video this week. And let's see, Lori is asking, do I keep my anniversary cards? Yes, I have kept every single card that my husband and son have given me for the last 40 years. I have every single card. Yes, I keep them. Well, thank you, Cindy, for sharing. That's sweet of you. Thank you, everybody, for joining. So it started with this. And then I decided to try some other colors and other designs. And this bundle, so if you're thinking, okay, wait, back up, where did you get this? This is part of our new Stampin' Up! Online Exclusive release that just launched July 3rd. So depending on when you're watching this, it's possible that this would even be sold out because online exclusives are limited time only. They are only shown online from Stampin' Up! And they are not featured in a catalog. Therefore, if it sells out, it might just leave and be gone, and we don't know. That's kind of how online exclusives work. And if you're looking for all of the online exclusives that launched on July 3rd, I posted this downloadable PDF that has all of the online exclusives that launched on July 3rd. This was on my business Facebook page a couple of days ago, and it will also be an available download on my blog on July 7th. And if you're watching this on YouTube, it'll be linked in the description, so you can find this. The reason I did this is I had lots of comments from both my team members and customers saying, I'm kind of finding this launch a little bit confusing. Things seem to be all over and I don't really know what's what. And so what I did was I featured a list where you see the suite and then you see the bundle, then you see the stamp set, and then you see the dies. So if you were to buy the suite, you're going to get all that. And then I also featured the other items that come in the suite. So in this case, it's some adhesive dots and some ribbon and this designer paper. So technically, if you bought the whole thing, then it would come with all those parts. Okay. So I just repeated that. So here's another suite. Here's the bundle. Here's the dies. Here's the paper, etc. So if you are looking for this Frosted Forest, here it is here. Here's the bundle. You can also just get the set, or you can get the dies, or you can just get the masks. And I want to point out, at least in my eyes, okay, maybe I'm just being a little blind, but when I look at this picture and it describes that it's a bundle, all I see is the stamp set and the dies. I do not see the masks. My son is coming to look because he's like, Mom, I can always see things that you don't see. Did you see the masks?
I don't know what they are.
Oh, he says, I don't know what they are. Okay, so let me show you, because some of you might be thinking, what's she talking about, right? So here are the set of 6 masks that I used to make these cards. 3 of them, these 3, will create a stencil. I call it a stenciled image, whatever you want to say, for the tall tree. So that's these 3. We'll make a card with those. And then there are a set of 3 masks or stencils, call them what you will, that create the tall evergreen or pine tree. You can call it either one, and also the shorter one. So those are on these 3 masks. The point I was getting to, sorry that it took so long to get there, is that when you look at this bundle online, it includes the masks. It's in the description, but I don't see them shown. And so I have had several comments saying, okay, $64.95 feels a little expensive for a bundle, because Stampin' Up! Is normally refers to a bundle as stamps and dies, but this includes the masks, and I don't see it here. I don't know. Am I blind? Does anyone else see the mask? I don't see it. I don't know if this was a mistake on their part or if they just figure that people will read the description. I don't know. We're crafters. We look at pictures. We don't read descriptions. Well, I don't anyway. So I thought this was an important bundle to go over with all of you and show you that it does include the stamp set, the set of dies, and the 6 masks. That's included in that discounted bundle price. Anyway, maybe I just missed a memo, but I just thought that was going to be important to go over that with you. Let me just see if anybody had a question on that. Okay, so Judy says, I didn't know the masks were in the bundle, so now I have 2 sets of masks. Oh, okay, so you probably then purchased, here's page 2. You purchased the bundle and you purchased the masks, but yes, it comes in the bundle. Yeah. So make sure. Oh, okay. Beth said the same thing. Oh, Colleen did the same thing. Holly says it's not in the picture. All right. So yes, it was confusing, Polly, wasn't it? Okay, Debbie, I'm glad that was helpful. So yes, it comes with all 3, Rebecca. Yes, it comes with all 3. And it, like I said, it's listed in the description, stamp set, dies, and masks, but we're visual people and I don't see it. So it can be very confusing, but I'm glad that that was helpful to go over that. Okay, Jenny said she would have purchased the masks twice as well. You're welcome, everybody. I'm glad that was helpful. I always figure if I find something confusing, that it's probably going to be helpful to go over it. So I am going to first show you, I call this the tall tree. I don't know. Does this have a name? Whatever. We're going to first do this with stamping and the masks and the blending brushes so that you can see how to make this type of card. As you can see, you can use any colors you want. I think I'm going to recreate with this combo because it's just my favorite. And then we're going to do these trees. I call them evergreens or pine trees. And I learned something that I really think I did this wrong. So I'm going to show you a tip. So somebody remind me if I get too excited and I forget the tip. And then at the end, if you want to hang out a little longer and you want to see the difference of making this without a stamped image. Do you see the difference there? The one on the left is just the ink blending and the masks. I'm going to show you how I did that. And then I'm going to take it kind of a step further and show you how I actually did it on watercolor paper, spritzed it, and did a watercolor background to give it yet a different look. And, oh, I should point out, do you see here? I added tree trunks with my watercolor brush and some ink because, well, I'll show you. But when you just do the masked image, you don't have a trunk. So I added the trunk. To my eye, it needed a trunk. Anyway, so lots going on today, but let's just get going. Let's just go ahead and do this one. And once you see this, I'm sure that you will understand how you can just use different colors and you can really do whatever image whatever colors you'd like. So I have a piece of deckled, it's basic white cardstock die cut, slow down, with the deckled rectangle die, because I just thought that looked really pretty. Oh, this is actually bigger, isn't it? Yeah, it's the bigger one, and that's fine. So it just won't be layered like this one. I'll just show you the stamping and the ink blending on this one. So I have the large tree already mounted, the tall tree, I guess I should call it, already mounted. This is a E-block, an E-block. And I hope I don't, here, let me do it this way so I don't wiggle the camera. And you can do either way when you are inking and stamping. If you are more comfortable taking the ink pad to the stamp, you can do that. or you can pounce onto the ink pad. I just hate for it to wiggle the camera, so I thought that was probably a better way to do it. Anybody else feel like they do ab crunches when they do this, when you're pressing down on your stamp? I always feel like I'm doing an ab crunch. I guess that's good, right? A little free workout there. Becky, I love the deckled dies as well. Okay, Crystal double ordered. Okay, you know, I wonder, I'm kind of wondering, based on your comments and my confusion, I just wonder if Stampin' Up! Is going to run out of masks because people are accidentally double ordering the masks. I just wonder. Yeah. Oh, Tammy says she would have double ordered the masks as well. And Patricia ordered double. Yeah, okay. I wonder. What do you think? I just wonder. Okay, so for this image, there is this mask that will give color to the tree trunk. And then there is this image that has the large openings that basically is going to give an overall color. And then this mask is going to give us some shadows or lowlights. So I don't know, for whatever reason, I start with the trunk. There's no right or wrong. You can do whatever you'd like. And I used, here it is, my copper clay blending brush. And sorry to reach right in front of you. I have all my beautiful colors. I don't want to drop this whole stack, but there's all the colors I used. Isn't that pretty? All those beautiful colors. So I used copper clay to do the tree trunk. And I'll give you a little tip before you start inking or ink blending on your tree trunk. Let's see. Yeah, you can see it on these. Well, I can see it. What I tried to do was do a little bit darker here and right under here, because that's where that trunk is going to be in the shadows. And I tried to lighten up just a little bit down here because I thought the light might be hitting that tree trunk. Now, I know this is just a card, okay? It's just a stamped card. This is not a Van Gogh or a Monet or a whatever, right? You can just be as fun or loose or whatever as you want with the ink blending. But after doing a couple, that's just sort of what I thought looked really cool, was to try to get a little bit darker in there and then just sort of let that ink blend out and lighten down towards the bottom. And remember, you can always add more ink, but once you get a dark spot, it will not, you can't remove it. So it's better to just sort of add some ink, lift it up, look at it, put it back down, add more ink, however, whatever you think it needs. I'm just going to put a tiny bit more right here. Okay, there we go. So now I have this darker area here where it's shaded by the tree itself, and then just a little bit lighter towards the bottom. And now we can move to the greens, and I'm going to do lemon lime and granny apple. And if we feel like we want a little bit darker than the next darkest shade, put these in order for you, then the next darkest shade to my eye would be garden green. So we'll see, but I think I'm going to be okay with these two. And in fact, I can kind of give you a tip about, I think we've done this with other masks as well, about getting more than one color, well, more than one shade with just one color. That's the better way to say it. So I'm going to start up at the top. Doesn't matter. You can start at the bottom or the middle. Absolutely doesn't matter. And just sort of give like this overall, just light wash of lemon lime twist. Okay, just very light. And then I can add a second layer kind of down the center. Remember where I said it's kind of going to be darker in the middle, right? Where the tree has the most shaded area. It's also going to be darker down here. So now I hope you can see this. So just with one color, maybe, you know what, let me just see if I can zoom a little bit there. And I'm sorry for that glare right there. There's nothing I can do about that. But what I'm trying to show you here is that just with one color and this one, the first mask, you can actually start to do some shading instead of one really dark layer. Because I like seeing kind of the lighter parts where the sun is coming down onto the tops of those branches. I like that. I like to see it just kind of light. All right. Yes, pretty. Isn't that pretty? I think I'm going to just do one more layer of color on the whole thing. And it will darken what I already darkened, and it will just give one more layer of green to the whole thing. And I like to build up lots and lots of layers of lighter color. If you've seen me use blending brushes before, you know that I just prefer to just keep building up some color. There, that's really pretty. I like that. Then we'll use that more detailed mask with Granny Apple Green as our shadowed area that Stampin' Up! Has determined is kind of a shadow. So I think, I'm not sure that there's like a super right and wrong spot to place this. That looks good to me, so that's what we're going to go with. You can experiment, you can move it around, and you can kind of play and put this in slightly different spots. It doesn't really matter. And you can see I'm just holding it down. You don't need to tape it, but you are welcome to tape it if you wish. So there we go. That is that image with two colors, but it kind of looks like three because we went lighter and darker with the lemon lime. And then while I have these colors out, let me show you what I did for the grass. This image is from In the Grove. Oh, whoa, I forgot I was zoomed in. Sorry. In the Grove. And it's this grass image right here. And I just started out by, nope, sorry, wait. I wanted to do that in the light color. I started out with the light color inked onto my grass. So that would be the lemon lime twist. Then I grabbed the Granny Apple Green on my blending brush, and I just haphazardly tapped some darker green on there. And then I'm just going to stamp and move and stamp and move and stamp and move. Okay. And I know it's not quite the same yet. And then we're going to go one layer, or layer one, I don't know, whatever the word is. One step, there we go, one step darker. So I'm going to ink it with the Granny Apple, which was one color darker, and I'm going to use the Garden Green as my add a little extra color thing to it. And I will kind of start here under the tree. And see how that gave it some lights and darks? And then the last step, I'm just going to do some Granny Apple, just filling in kind of down at the bottom. And so there you can see how it gave lots of interest and lights and darks. And like over here where the sun is coming down, it's got a little bit lighter grass and it's a little bit darker under the tree. And you know what? I think what I'm going to do is, this is the dark one. So this is the garden green. I am going to just stamp right there, right under the tree, just to give it just a little more dark. So let me zoom back out. And there you go. That's how you use the Frosted Forest, stamped tall tree, and the masks. And that's how I did the grass. You can do, whatever you want with grass. Does not matter. Then the last thing I did was add sky. So let me just show you that. And I kind of liked boho blue and balmy blue. And I think, either one. This is boho. This is balmy. So you see how you get a different look depending on which blue that you use. But I think I'm going to use boho on this one. I'll show you how I added the sky. Where did I put my boho blue brush? Here. Okay. Load up your blending brush. Start on your scratch paper. And as you swirl, come over onto your paper. Light touch, light touch, light touch. I am not going over the tree. You could, but I am not going over the actual tree. I'm leaving just sort of almost a little halo around it. A little bit down here just so it isn't just stark white. There you go. And there is a card front ready to be mounted onto a card of your choice. Let's see. Oh, Catherine. Yeah, it was confusing, wasn't it? Yep. Oh, I'm glad you liked the grass. Thank you. Thank you, Tammy. Thank you, Holly. Thanks, Chris. Oh, Sheila, the grass. I showed this. It's from In the Grove. It's this one. Let's see. Was there any other questions before I move on? Thank you, Crystal. I'm glad you enjoy the tips. Yes, sympathy or get well cards, Tammy. Exactly. Oh, Bob Ross. Okay, Rebecca, so this is a great question. It comes up every time that I use the brushes. She's asking about if you don't want to purchase a brush for every color, what do you do? So here's my advice. It's not a rule. It's not a law. It's just what I do and how I started. So these are sold in 3-packs by Stampin' Up! If you get the Stampin' Up! Brushes. So at first, I started with 3-packs. So I had 9 brushes. And really, if that's what you can afford, I would just go with that. You don't have to have 50 like I do. So what I would do is have one for your darker reds, like Cherry Cobbler, Real Red, one for lighter reds, like Poppy Parade, maybe going into oranges, like Calypso Coral, one for pinks, one for dark purples, one for light purples, dark blues, light blues, dark greens, light greens. Okay. That's really what you need. That's really all you need. You might even be able to get away with 6. And in between colors, just brush off as much color as you can and just move to your next color. Really, it's not going to hurt it. Like if I were to go between boho blue and balmy blue, it would be fine. Or pool party and balmy blue, coastal cabana, like those are going to be fine as long as you just kind of wipe off some ink. What I do not recommend is washing them, 2 reasons. Number 1, if you wash them, you have to wait for them to dry to use them again. And for me, you saw how many times I'm switching between colors. If I were waiting for those to dry, I could never get through a project. And these are so dense that they take hours to dry. The other reason I don't recommend washing them is when you keep building up ink, you can see these are pretty saturated with color, right? The more you build up the ink, really the better blend you're going to get every time, because you're barely adding any extra ink and you're just barely tapping off that dark spot and then you're going right to it. If this was a clean brush every time, I would be sucking up so much ink off of that ink pad every single time. It's kind of a waste of ink. So that's my 411 on the blending brushes. Take it for what it's worth. Take it or leave it. You can do what you'd like to do, but I always like to sort of give that as my answer. Let's see. Let me just go back. Were there any other questions here? Oh, good. I'm glad that was helpful. Okay, so let's do the pine trees or the evergreen trees, whatever you would like to call them. And then we'll do the non-stamped image, and then we'll do the watercolor image. So you're just welcome to hang out as long as you want to with me. If you're like, okay, I get it, I understand this, I've got it, I don't need to see anymore, totally fine as well. So the pine trees, there are 2 stamps, and I just kind of stamped them next to each other and then did the ink blending on them. And they come with 3 separate masks, and both the large and the small tree, you can see, are on each mask. So if you wanted to stamp them that far apart, you could stamp them that far apart and then just do your ink blending. But you can see what I'm going to need to do is do the large tree, and then I'll move it over and I'll do the small tree. So whatever works for you. And I am going to start with this image, which to me has the most open area. That's how I like to do the layers. And then this one has kind of the next most open area. And then to me, this one is the detailed. And this one is the one that I'm going to give you a tip. I really think, excuse me, that I did it wrong when I first did it. So I want to show you a way I feel that you could correct the mistake that I did. So here's our example. And I don't know about you, but I just thought that this combination of Shy Shamrock and Shaded Spruce was absolutely lovely for an evergreen tree. So that's what we're going to use. Excuse my reach again. They're on the bottom of my pile. So there we go. And I'll start with the tall tree. And a little tip, if you're using the stamped image, okay, so I stamped it in Memento, then the little notch, see the notch on the mask, goes to the bottom left. If you try to flip it, you're going to have a really hard time, and it almost looks like double vision because you can never really quite get it lined up. So bottom left for the notch. And Shy Shamrock is our lighter color. Start with that. Let me see if I can zoom in again a little bit. I think that's helpful. Okay, so these are pretty forgiving. Don't spend a whole lot of time worrying about how it's lined up for this first mask and the second mask. It really is forgiving. Really, really is. So it's pretty easy to line up and pretty easy to use. You can see what I did on this one is I started at the bottom and I'm letting my ink kind of run out as I go to the top, because again, I think the top of the tree will be lighter, the bottom of the tree will be darker. And then I'm going to scoot it over and just go ahead and do the small tree while I have this brush and this ink pad out. And I guarantee you, well, I guess it's not a guarantee. I will tell you that my fingers were so green after I made all these cards the first time. Lordy. So green. Oh, not bad so far. So there's one layer. Honestly, you could leave it at that. I think it's beautiful. Don't have to. You can kind of just, you know, do your thing, whatever you'd like to do. Then the second one, I'm going to go ahead and add color. I'm going to add it with the same Shy Shamrock. Just trying to center it the best that I can. You can see wherever the green is showing through, it'll get darkened with this second layer. If I do that, there, I'm going to cover up some of that glare. Okay, so wherever the green is already showing through, it's going to darken. But then do you see like right here, right here, right here, where there's a white showing through? Then that layer is going to be a lighter layer. So this is going to give that extra depth and dimension where we're going to get some things that are darker, some things that are lighter, and we're going to end up with 3 shades right here after this mask. So there we go. We have 3 different shades on there. And then I'm going to actually do one more layer of that. Remember I said you can always add, but once you get it dark, you're done. You can't lighten it. So same thing here. And I know some of you might be over there in the comments saying, make a little mark on your paper where the V is so that you can line it up perfectly. Yes, you can totally do that. I just like to kind of eyeball it. So, oops, look what I did. Put my finger right there. Gonna have to maybe trim that down a little bit. And then for our third layer, I'll switch to Shaded Spruce, which is the darker of my 2 greens that we're using right now. Let me wipe that finger off. Let's see. Got distracted. Don't get distracted. Okay, now we're going to add. Now here's where I think I did it wrong. I lined this up. Like if I move this, do you see how you're seeing white through there right now? Sorry for that glare. So do you see I'm seeing white? Okay, if I scoot it up, I would be adding green on top of green. That's what I did for these cards. But I really think it turns out better if you line it up first and then you scoot it down. So do you see how that white is showing through? And this actually makes more of a shadow underneath your lighter green. And I don't know, to my eye, this just looked really good. I really should ask the artist at Stampin' Up! If that's what they meant for it to do or not. I'm just going to hold this up and show you. I just think that was kind of the perfect blend. It kind of goes over the black stamped image and darkens. I think it turned out better than my first one. At least to my eye. It fills in the tree more, fills in the white spaces more. So I don't know if that's what it's supposed to be, or if that was just kind of a happy, like, let me try that. So again, if we try to line it up, and then we kind of scoot down just a little bit so that the white starts popping through, that's what I'm going to do with this third layer. Oh, that is so pretty. Oh my goodness. Do you love this? I just think this is amazing. Amazing. The last thing I'm going to do, and this is brave of me to do this without having tried it before, I'm going to reach in front of me and I'm going to grab a copper clay Stampin' Blend marker, and I am going to color in some of that tree trunk, because in my brain the green tree trunk is bothering me. And I might actually, I think I'm going to grab the dark copper clay. And I'm glad this is turning out, because anytime I try to do something live, I always worry. What if I don't like it? What if I totally mess it up? Look at that. Look at the difference. Can you see the difference? Maybe you can't see the difference. I can see the difference. I totally love coloring that trunk in. What do you all say? Let me know. Can I fill more of the tree by moving it down again? Yes, you could keep moving it down. Exactly. Yeah, you could probably do white for snow. Sure, I bet you could. Oh, good. You like it better. Okay, awesome. Good. I'm glad you like that. I like that combo too. I really do. I think it's a great combo, Crystal. Oh, wait, no. Somebody else said that. Sorry. Sorry, the comments are like flying by. It's hard to keep track. Yes. Okay, you like the colored in trunk? Okay, good. I do too. In fact, so what the heck, right? Let's just color this one in. There we go. I don't know. I think that looks so much better. Why stop there? So dark copper clay, I think, is the ticket here. I wouldn't try to do it with the blending brush. There's no way I could get that precise with the blending brush. But look, holy business. Okay, that's the ticket. There we go. I love it. I love it. Okay, let's zoom back out and let's do the image without the stamping, because I think that's really pretty. I think it's, do you see that it does not have that stamped outline? And yes, I drew in the trunks on those because they needed trunks. But I'll just show you that really quickly. And perhaps what we should do is use a different color combo. Maybe we should do this one, and let's see what that looks like without the stamping. You know what? That one might be too light. I wonder. Well, you know what? You don't know until you try it, right? Let's try it. So just give me a second here. I need to get different inks, different brushes. So pumpkin pie, copper clay, and crushed curry. A little rearrangement. Sorry for my reaching. Copper clay. Oh, I used Cajun craze too. It's up here. Okay, well, we'll see if we need that. Crushed curry and pumpkin pie. And I don't have another deckled one cut, so we will use, what do you call that thing? What is that called? Is that going to be too short? Oh, that's going to fit right there. The perennial postage, that's what it's called. So I'm going to repeat copper clay because I like that for the trunk. I forgot, I started in the middle, right? Give it a little bit darker and then a little bit lighter right here where the sun might be hitting it. Okay, so there's our trunk. No stamping, no stamping. And then we'll move to crushed curry, which is a color I don't use often, but it seemed really perfect for this. Oh, but you know what? We have to clean the masks, and this gives me a chance to show you what I do when I am just here at my desk and I want to clean my mask. I put an old washcloth down, and then I just grab baby wipes. And I just gently, because you don't want to lift, excuse me, those little delicate parts. So just kind of gently get the color off and then dry off that side. And then this one, get the green off of there. Give my fingers a little chance to get some color off of them. So that's what I do. If I were near a sink, I would probably take these to the sink and clean them, but you can do whatever method works for you. Okay, now this is pretty easy to line up. Even though we don't have the stamped image, I am covering, I'm trying to get that glare away, sorry. I'm covering those little branches with the mask. And then there we go with our crushed curry. And I'm trying to go just a little bit darker here because we don't have the stamped image. So I just need to kind of make sure that we have enough color on this. Oh yeah, you can tell what it is. Totally. Okay. Enough color without that stamped image, because that would worry me if somebody was like, whoa, is that a tree? I don't know. Okay, and then with the same mask, I'm grabbing some pumpkin pie. I want to get most of this off, but I just want to kind of hit and miss, add some orange, because I don't want it to just be a yellow tree. So you can see what I'm doing. I'm trying to leave some yellow, trying to add some dark and some light with the pumpkin pie, add some orange with the pumpkin pie. Let's see how that looks. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And then our final layer with the pumpkin pie to add the shadows that Stampin' Up! Has for this image. And probably best, add a layer, peek, see how you like it. Yep, need a little more. Add a little more. Because you can always add. Remember, you can always add. Yeah. I like that. And this gives you the opportunity to see the difference with a different color. So stamped outline or just ink blending. What do you think? I can really see the advantages of both. I think both of these are great options. Let me show you the fall tree and the summer tree. So both ways there. Stamping and non-stamping. Honestly, I love both. I can really see this being super versatile, that buying the entire bundle to me would be the way to go, and then you have the option. But of course you have the option to just do the masks. So, oh, and one thing in the mask package, it says in here that you could trace the mask using the markers. So I suppose if you laid this on top and you used a marker, you could outline it if you kind of want it to look almost more like a coloring book outline than that stamped image. So there's that option as well. Yes, the unstamped is much softer. Yes. Thank you. I'm glad you all like them both. Oh, good. I'm glad you are excited to try them, Judy. Awesome. So let's just review before we go to the watercoloring. So I showed you how to use different colors with the masks and the stamping. And you can use either tree, well, all three trees, I guess, really. Any of the three trees, stamped or not stamped, and blending brushes and ink, different colors, different seasons. We talked about filling in on this pine tree the tree trunk, because I don't know, to my eye, I just really like that. I think that looks better. And then what I wanted to show you was how I made one on watercolor paper. Let me find it. So this is what we're going to do next, is on watercolor paper and this softer look, because we're going to spritz it with water. So that's what we're going to do next. I hope you're excited, because it just really excited me to try that. That was yesterday afternoon is when I tried that, and I was like, oh my gosh, I love this. So watercolor paper comes in a sheet. I think it's about that size. I think I just cut it in half. At least the Stampin' Up watercolor paper does anyway. So that's what I'm going to use. I think this is a half a sheet of the watercolor paper. And I am going to grab the mask back in. And I think we'll just do the big tree, just because you get the idea. Once we've done one, you get the idea. Oh, this is too glary. Sorry, let me move these. Just trying to get back to my blending brushes because there's stuff everywhere. So this one, I'm going to need to clean this because I did not do the Shy Shamrock. I did Granny Apple. Granny Apple and I think Garden Green, I think. Oh dear. Well, should have written it down. Broke my own rule. I always tell you all, right? Make a little swatch sheet, write it down, and I didn't do it myself, but we'll experiment. We'll see how it looks. Okay, get that a little dry. Oh, not bad. Not bad. I thought I was getting really inky. I was so inky the last couple days making these. If you don't want to use up baby wipes, you could just have a damp cloth and a dry cloth too. That would work as well. I just happen to have some really cheap dollar store baby wipes that I use. Okay, so this is watercolor paper, masks, ink blending, and no stamping, and water spritzing. So I have a spritzer here that I'm going to use, and I am going to try, I think I did lemon lime first. Well, it doesn't really matter what you do. was just trying to replicate it. Let's see. Oh, I'm glad you are excited to use it, Crystal. Yay. Yes. Okay, Rebecca is saying, for those who don't like to color, that the masks are a great option, and I totally agree. I hope that by me showing you ways to layer your color on here, that it will also help you to feel like you're kind of being artistic with it and not just doing one super solid color. So I've got dark to light in the lemon lime twist. Oh, of course we're going to have a phone call. Why not? Hubby is here so he can grab the phone. I hope he's going to grab the phone. Can somebody answer that? then Granny Apple with the next layer. Wait, is this the next layer? I think this is the next layer. Okay. So then we have our next darkest color, Granny Apple.
Hello. That's me.
Okay. Oh, so pretty already, right? Isn't that pretty? And then I'm going to do, should we do shaded spruce or garden green? Shaded spruce is going to be really dark. I think I'm going to do garden green. So let's do garden green. And remember, remember what I was telling you about line this one up and then scoot it down to see the white? That's what I'm going to do with this. Just to give that kind of a shadow. Oh, that's so pretty. Isn't that gorgeous? I love this. So now remember, this is watercolor paper. So what I'm going to do is spritz it so that it bleeds a little, but I'm also going to give you a tip because I was impatient. So I know that a lot of you know that my dad was a watercolor artist, and had I paid a little more attention, I probably would know some of these things a little better. But I spritzed, hang on, there we go. Okay, so I spritzed with water, and hang on, that's bleeding really too much right there. Okay, I spritzed, and then I was like, oh, well, it's not really doing much. And I spritzed again. I'm like, oh, it's not really doing that much. I spritzed again. Okay, I almost got it to the point where it was like obliterated, and I went, oh dear. So here's my tip, is that you want to spritz it and let it sit a minute and see how much it bleeds and see if you like it so that it doesn't just go into oblivion. And here's the other tip. I learned this from my dad. I did learn this from my dad. If you wet the backside of your watercolor paper, it will help it from curling up. So that, see how now it's flat? I don't know if you can tell, but now it's flat. I'm going to give it a little more spritz up here. Dab that off down here. Oh, this is perfect. So I'm going to leave this, and I'm going to trust that process, that when this paper dries, this is going to just be the perfect amount of softness. Because I know from my trial and error yesterday that by spritzing it one more time, this is going to kind of just be a blob of green by the time it finishes spreading and it dries. So I'm going to trust that this will work and that this will be perfect. So that is how you get the watercolor look. If I can get this to dry a little bit, maybe I can fan it a little bit. I'll show you this background in just a minute. I know it'll give me the opportunity to check out some comments, so I will do that. But I also added the tree trunk, and instead of grabbing the marker like you saw me do on the previous project, I used a watercolor brush that comes to kind of a nice fine point, and I used, I think it was the pecan or copper clay, I think, ink, and I just kind of dabbed color down the center for my trunk. You can use a marker when it's all dry, but I stuck with the watercolor. So that's how I got the tree trunk down the middle. But I would really, gosh, I would love for for this to dry a bit, and then I'll show you the sky background. So let me just scroll back and see if there were comments or questions, and then we'll finish this one up. Oh, are the masks numbered? They're A, B, C, oh, 1, 2, 3, ABC. So the pine tree is ABC, and the what I call the tall tree, it is 1, 2, 3. So yes, they are numbered. So I guess B. Oh, so if you went in their order, then I did it opposite. Well, I started with the A, but then I went to C, and then I went to B. But you get the same result. You just can do it however you'd like. So great question. Thank you for, I didn't even look at that. Let's see. I would never have thought of using that first color that you used, lemon lime twist. Yeah. See, the reason I like it is, do you see, Louise, how it looks like the light is kind of coming down onto those branches? That's what happens when you use that lightest color. If you do start dark and you just keep going dark, it can get really dark. So let me clean up a little here while I look at comments, and then we will go on to the watercoloring background part, I hope. I just need the tree to dry, because otherwise the tree is going to bleed into the background. Let's see. Can't wait to try this beautiful artistic technique. Thank you, Lois. Thank you, Chris. Yes, 1, 2, 3, and ABC. Thank you, Kim. Okay, let's see. Yeah, spritzing the back. I've shared that on most of my watercoloring videos. If you spritz the back, you can see this is like almost perfectly flat, whereas that doesn't happen if you just start watercoloring on the front. Okay. Yes, it is fun, Debbie, isn't it? Yeah, I could get out my heat gun, but it is buried and I can't reach it from where I am sitting right now, but I could. Yes, the tree trunk makes a great difference. I totally agree. I love the tree trunk in there. Let's see. If I use the right, wait, sorry, let me start over. Luann says, if you stencil the right image first, then slide it to the right to ink the left image, your fingers won't get in as much ink. Thank you. Yeah, I guess I would need to stamp them differently. Thank you, Luann. Yes, I'm glad you like that, Louise. Yes, I think you can be successful with this, Rebecca. I do. I think you can be. Let's see. Oh, Julie said, do you think this dries out your ink pads more quickly? So if you are asking about using the blending brushes, yes, blending brushes soak up a lot of ink. But, as you know, I always purchase the re-inker. When I purchase an ink pad, I re-ink my pads probably about once a month. So it's just a nature of using, it's a consumable product. It's the nature of using a consumable product is that it will need to be re-inked, no matter if you're stamping a lot or if you're using blending brushes. So yes, great question. Yes, Julie, thank you. I just saw your other comment. Let's see, any other questions? If somebody had a question and I missed it, could you retype it? For some reason, I don't always get all the comments on here. Thanks, Tammy. I'm glad you like this. Francis says, do online exclusives ever move to clearance? I don't recall seeing online exclusives on clearance. It's possible, but basically with online exclusives, when they sell out, they are gone. So there aren't leftovers to put on the clearance rack, but I'm sure it's possible. Let's see. I'm glad you like this, Robin. Thank you, Lynn. Thanks, Sheila. Oh, I'm glad you'll try the stencils. Thank you, Vicki. Okay, I'm holding it up because I'm trying. This is really wet. But you know what? I'll try. Let me see if I can share the sky background with you. And if this one gets ruined, you'll know it's because I worked on it too soon when the tree was still wet. Technically, this tree really should get dry before I do this background. I'm a little nervous, but I'll try it. I'll try it. I'll show you. Or, I know. I know what I'll do. Hang on. I need to get out my glass mat because that's what I love to use when I do watercoloring. So let me just put it up here. You've heard me say I absolutely love the glass mat. I don't use it for a couple of reasons because it reflects. I'm going to try and cover up those two spots, the reflections. It reflects light, and also my camera lens kind of gets fooled by this grid that's under the glass. So anyway, that's why I generally don't have this in my videos, but I use this every day. Love the glass mat. So let's grab Balmy Blue because that's what I used for this sky. And when I'm doing a wash like this, I just put my ink right here, right on my glass mat. I just dabbed my pad right onto it. That's how I do it. I've got my cup of water, and I like to use kind of a wide brush like this for doing a background wash, or kind of a thicker, a brush that has a lot of bristles like this. Either way, either one will work. But let's just pretend that the tree is there like this. I just don't want to ruin this tree because you have to stay away, you know, wet and wet. You have to keep separate. So we'll pretend like I'm just going to go around a tree. We're just pretending, right? So put the water down. Okay. Get the brush wet. Just going to bring in my little rag here. Okay. Now I'm going to pick up the color. Okay, and we're just going to just kind of lightly, I'm not trying to paint it solid. I'm actually trying to get some darks and lights. And that's how I would start that sky. And remember, we're kind of pretending that the tree is there in the middle. We're avoiding the tree, the imaginary tree. And I can actually stamp a tree on this one afterwards. But I'm going to let that wash just kind of dry, put a little more water here and there, and I don't know, come on, let it kind of dry a bit. Because the reason I'm saying that is because if you just keep trying to add color, it will just keep being a whole wash. It will not give this effect that I want it to. So I'm trying to, yeah, this is really wet. Let me just see if I can just soak up a little color to speed this up a little bit for you. So then I'm going to pull up more of this blue, and I'm just going to kind of dab in haphazardly. Dab in some more of the blue, and not trying to make a full wash. I'm trying to give lights and darks because my goal is that eventually it's going to just kind of look like clouds. Wherever the darkest pigment settles, it's going to give that kind of light and dark and cloudy effect. And that's just how I did the background. Again, kind of avoiding around the tree. And then at the last minute, I picked up with a more pointed end brush, and I kind of just went in just really close to the tree, trying not to touch it, and gave it just that little fill in right next to the tree. So that was how I did that background. And you can see, I hope you can see, do you see how I've already got like darks and lights, and it's going to give that effect of a cloudy kind of a sky. So just sort of imagine that was on the background of this, but you want to make sure your tree is dry before you do this. Otherwise, you're just going to pull that green right into the sky. I wonder if anybody has ever said that before. You're going to pull the green into the sky. And then I can just wipe this off. And there we go. Now I can add other colors. I can put other colors in different spots. But that is how I like to do my watercoloring, is on my glass mat. So friends, my goodness, we did so much today. I feel like this was probably, could have been 3 separate videos and 3 separate lessons of all the different things we talked about. But I just really wanted to give you so many of these possibilities, so many things that you can do with this bundle. I think it's really remarkable and really kind of endless of all the things that you can think about doing. The 2 different tree styles, 3 separate trees, 2 styles, the color range, stamping, no stamping. You could color in with the blends. Like if you just wanted to stamp the tree and color it with your blends or watercolor, you could do that. So you have that option as well. I don't know. I think this is really a remarkable bundle. Yep, Christmas card, definitely. You could definitely make it Christmassy. Oh, good, Denise. I'm glad you're going to use your brushes. Yes, Debbie, it could have been 3 videos. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I am so glad. I am so glad. Thank you, Louise and Robin and Denise and Judy, Mary. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, everybody. Yes, if you don't have the glass mat, Mary, you can just grab one of the larger Stampin' Up! Blocks and use that in the same way and just smash your ink on it. You can also use ink from the re-inkers, but I find I get a better wash by just using ink from a smashed pad on there. The re-inkers tend to be really saturated and you'll get a darker spot. Thank you, Lisa. So let's see. Catherine is saying her trees are old olive and mossy meadow, depending on, yeah. And shaded spruce. You can use whatever colors you'd like. Totally. Totally, totally. So I think I caught up with all the questions. Oh, Karen tuned in late. Yes, we're just ending, so please go ahead and watch the replay. But yes, I did do watercolor paper on the last one. Everything else is just basic white. And somebody asked what page. It's not on a page. So this, we went over this in the beginning, Cindy. Feel free to, just so you don't have to, everybody has to sit through this again. But this is an online exclusive. This PDF was on my business page a couple days ago. It will be linked in the video when I'm done here, but it's online exclusives. It's not on a page. So you just type in Frosted Forest in the online store. And I was pointing out that the stamp set, the dies, and the masks are all part of this discounted bundle price. The masks are not shown. At least my eye can't see the masks, but I do want you to know that it's all a part of that bundle and it's an online exclusive, not in a catalog. All right. Well, thank you again, everybody, for watching. I'm so glad that you join me on Fridays. It's fun to watch your comments and see your excitement. And I will be back next week. I'm pretty sure next week I'm going to use, let me show you right here, the changing leaves. I was just getting everything mounted on my magnet sheets before this video, and I was like, oh, I want to use that. So I think I'm going to do that next week. Yes, I have lots of videos on the layers of beauty masks, Colleen. You can go to my Patty Stamps page, or excuse me, channel on YouTube and type that in the search bar. I've done lots of them, or you can go to my blog and search it. All right, everybody, thank you again, and I will see you next week. Have a wonderful weekend.